أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا وبست الجبال بسا فكانت هباء منبثا وكنتم أزواجا ثلاثا فأصحاب الميمنة ما أصحاب الميمنة وأصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة والسابقون السابقون أولئك المقربون في جنات النعيم ثلة من الأولين وقليل من الآخرين على سرر مرضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون آمنت بالله صدق الله العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل. صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه في كل لمحة ونفس عدد ما وسعه علمك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. These blessed days of Dhul Hijjah, in the beginning of Muharram, is filled with the stories, fascinating stories of sacrifice and great luminaries coming to this temporal world and also leaving this temporal world. One of them in these days are the days of martyrdom of Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. His life is a life of lessons for all kinds of people, because he was one of the greatest representative of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his life gave such dominance and victory over whole of the world that the world has never seen a ruler like him. So in this short 10-15 minutes, I would just like to mention some aspect of his life so that what we can learn from his life. यानी सैयदना उमर बिन खत्ताब रदियल्लाहु अन्हु के शहादत के दिन हैं। अब मसला है कि उनको तो शहादत मिल गई, वो तो कामयाब हो गए। मसला तो हम लोगों के लिए हमारा क्या बनना है, ये मसला है। उनके लिए तो कोई मसला नहीं, उनको तो बड़ा मुकाम दर्जा मिल गया। तो हम क्या सीख सकते हैं? What can we learn from his life? Number one, he was a youth, a young man living in Makkah at the time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was living. He was a young man of 15, 16, 17, was very, very strong person. Gangsters of Makkah used to fear him. He was also not on Islam. He used to drink, he used to fight, wrestling and all kinds of things, and he was, as you say, their leader at that young age, because Makkah was living in Jahiliyyah at that time. Islam has not come. So he was strong, he was not educated at that time, very young man. His father used to send him to graze sheep, and he even criticized him sometime because he said, you don't even know how to look after the sheep. That is the kind of environment he grew up. Like today, people might say, oh, I am growing up in Denmark, these are youngsters, you're growing up in Europe, UK. This is still a better environment than the time of Jahiliyyah. There was no law and order, nothing as such in Makkah. So in his life, there is very much guidance for young people. आपकी ज़िंदगी में जो नौजवानों के लिए बहुत हदायत और रहनुमाई है, क्योंकि आप एक नौजवान थे वहाँ उस वक़्त, 17-18 साल की उम्र थी, आप लड़ते थे और बहुत बड़े पहलवान थे, बदमाशों के साथ भी टकराते, लड़ाई होती, सारा कुछ नौजवान जिस तरह डरते हैं इस तरह का। यहाँ तक उनका बाप उनको कहता कि तुम्हें बकरियां चराने भी नहीं आते, वो बकरियां लेके बेचते, खाना, इस तरह की चीज़ें। तो इस तरह की ज़िंदगी उन्होंने गुजारी। तो हमारे नौजवानों के लिए उनकी ज़िंदगी में बड़े सबक हैं। ये आज के जो समझते हैं हम जी यूरोप में पल रहे हैं, वो मुआशरा उस वक़्त का इससे भी ज़्यादा जाहिलियत में था। कोई इंसाफ नहीं, कोई हुकूमत नहीं, कोई शय नहीं थी। यहाँ तो फिर चलो आजकल हुकूमत होती है, ये होता है। सो एज ही वॉज ग्रोइंग अप, he was a young man, strong thing. He was not much interested in that what's going on religiously or anything. As he grew up, he developed an interest in tijara, in business, and he visited at that time centers of business like Syria and other areas, and how people are living, etc. Time came when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam announced his prophethood. He knew the Prophet of Islam before, but not very detailed. He didn't took much interest in that or in the other, but when Abu Jahl and others, they used to oppose the Prophet of Islam, he used to hear But he didn't take interest. He said, oh, they're doing their thing. They are the leaders. And he was in his own life. But the thing, one quality was amongst millions of qualities in him. He was sincere with himself. So whatever he believed is truth, he will accept and he will actually stand up for it. So at one time, he was hearing these people speaking against, back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, speaking in the absence of people, which is called ghiba and namima and all these things. They are a sign of covered person. You know, a country, Afghanistan, many empires came, couldn't rule them. How do they choose their leader? They have many criteria. One criteria is that the criteria to choose a leader is he doesn't do backbiting. They said, well, what's that to do with leadership? यानी हज़रत उमर रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हु उस वक़्त जो अभी जहलियत के दौर में थे, वो सुनते थे लोग मुखालफत कर रहे हैं, हुज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने नबूवत का ऐलान किया, उनको इज़्ज़त दिलचस्पी नहीं थी, लेकिन वो सुनते थे ये कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ये पीछे पीछे बातें करते थे ज़्यादा लोग, ऐसा है, ये है, वो है। और पीछे बातें करना ये कमज़ोर लोगों की लामत होती है, घटिया लोगों की लामत होती है, ये गीबत। इसलिए मैं मिसाल दे रहा था कि अफ़गानिस्तान वाले लोग जिनका जो हुक्मरान देखे, जो भी उन्होंने चुना उसने उनको मतलब यानी मगलूब नहीं होने दिया, तो उनकी एक शर्त होती है कि वो गीबत ना करता हो। तो वो एक बंदा पूछने लगा कि इससे क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है भाई, इसका लीडर होने से, सियासी लीडर होने से क्या ताल्लुक़ है गीबत करने का? तो उन्होंने कहा कि गीबत हमेशा बुज़दिल करता है, इसका इशारा है कि वो बंदा बुज़दिल है। बुज़दिल बंदे को हम लीडर नहीं बनाना चाहते, वो तो मरवा देगा हमें। तो आप भी याद रख लें, जब आप किसी की बात कर रहे हैं, आप बुज़दिली का मुज़ाहिरा कर रहे हैं। अगर आप वाकई बुज़दिल नहीं होते, आप उसको बात कहते हैं। मरे हुए को मारना ये बहादुरी है? एक बंदा मरा हुआ पड़ा हुआ है, यही तो कुरान ने इशारा दिया है। एक बंदा मरा हुआ है तो उसके ऊपर डंडे मारना ये बहादुरी? आप मुझे बताएं। तो कुरान ने क्यों कहा है मुर्दा बाइक कि गोश्त खाने के मुतरादिफ है? मुर्दा मतलब ये मरे हुए को खाना, मरे हुए को मारना। वो खुदा का खौफ बंदा सोचे, ये को बहादुरी, कितनी जलील घटिया हरकत है ये। तो गीबत करने वाला, लेकिन यही वो जलील और घटिया इंसान है, तो इसलिए इसके करीब भी ना जाएं। So I was mentioning that in Afghanistan they choose a leader. One of the conditions they have is he doesn't do backbiting. You say, why? What's the backbiting do with leadership? They said that is a sign that person is a coward. That person is a scared person. That person has a small heart. He doesn't have a courage. Because only that person backbites, meaning in the back, behind the back of others. So also ponder over yourself as well, that if you have this nature, you have a kind of this cowardness in you. Because if you had some courage, you would have stand in front of the person and actually mention to him in his presence that this is brother, this is what is I don't lie, please actually do it, if you have any courage. That's why the Quran gave example. Firstly, let me explain. If a person, look, if you say I am very good, strong, you're fighting with someone, okay, that can be possible. Now a dead body is lying there. A person who is lying dead and you are beating him up and saying, look how brave I am, I should have a medal, because I'm beating up a dead person. Is that any bravery? Is that any manhood? No. Because the dead person, the Quran says the person who does ghiba, he is like he's mistreating or eating dead meat of his brother, dead person, because he's not present there. So fighting with a dead person and I'm saying you have scored something. Is that something to actually be proud of? No, it is something to be ashamed of. That is what the Quran said. يُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. He said, dead people, these people who do ghiba, they do something to, example is of them because the person is absent, that they are actually. So that is just actually a thing which actually came up. But I was mentioned that Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, because he was a strong person, a brave person. He was in Abu Jahl, or he said, you cowards. Why are you speaking against Muhammad like every day I listen to you? If you are truthful, go and deal with him. They said, oh, no, we are planning. He said, hell with you, I'm going to deal with you. He is disturbing the community. He brought a new religion. I'm going to deal. You can get on with your job. So he stayed. He said, I will face head on. I'm not going to like coward people speak against him with you and not doing anything as such. So I'm saying that one of the qualities he had, he was a truthful person to himself. So whatever he believed, he would actually say it. It's not like a double-faced person, inside something else, outside something else. So he went, he said, I will finish this matter now and then. I will kill, martyr Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na'udhu billah. So he went, and during his journey, he went to sister's house also. She was also became before the Muslim. She even beat her up, but she was reciting Quran. He has heard this Quran. That affected him. So he went where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. His intention was to kill him, but on the way when he heard the truth, he said, let me hear the truth. So he heard these verses, Taha ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'an al-tashqa, beginning verse of Surah Taha. As I said that although he was with kuffar, but he thought he was true. He thought in his opinion what the Islam was not truthful. So he was believer. He said, I will deal it with head on. I will kill the people who said we are Muslim. But now when he listened to the Quran through his sister and the brother-in-law, he knew when his truth, now he stood up completely on the truth. He didn't say, oh, I was against, what will people think? Oh, what will Abu Jahl think? What will Abu Lahab think? What will Utbah think? What will my friends think? What will my gang think? No. Once you know the truth, so he went and accepted Islam into the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the one lesson from him. Be truthful to yourself at least. Being truthful to others is second stage. पहली चीज है अपने आप के अपने साथ तो सच्चे बन जाएं, अपने साथ तो मुखलिस बन जाएं. दूसरी है चलो दूसरों के साथ भी बनना. अपने साथ भी बंदा फ्रॉड कर रहा है. जो बंदा अपने साथ भी फ्रॉड कर रहा है, भाई अंदर पता है मुझे ये नहीं करना चाहिए, कर वो रहा है. बाहर उसकी जिंदगी और है, अंदर उसकी जिंदगी और है. कमरे के अंदर और है, घर वालों के साथ और है, बाहर वालों के साथ और है. वो तो अपने साथ भी झूठ बोल रहा है बंदा, वो अपने साथ भी फ्रॉड कर रहा है. उससे क्या तवक्को रख सकता है? दूसरे क्या तवक्को रखेंगे जो अपने को ही फ्रॉड कर रहा है, धोखा दे रहा है? क्योंकि अंदर उसके को पता है ये गलत है, लेकिन वो करा जा रहा है. So a person who is not truthful even with himself, he can't be truthful to others. So the first step is be truthful. So when you recognize the truth, जब हक की पहचान हो जाए, फिर उस पर चल पड़ो. फिर ना सोचो बंदे क्या कहेंगे, सोचेंगे. Then don't think what people will say, this will happen, etc., etc. No, once something is truth, with wisdom, follow that truth. As I said, that his life is a life of lessons and many, many sessions. Scholars and ulama have written books. We can't actually cover them. But I will just cover another lesson from his, that was from his beginning life, now his last days. And we finish. Last days. He did a dua to Allah, Jalla Majduhu. Ya Allah, give me death, martyrdom in your way, but in the city of Medina. Now that was close to impossible, because a ruler who from Roman Empire, Persian Empire, like now you see Russia, America, they are power. At that time, like they were the power. And look, what's happening in Ukraine. But no country has the guts, you may say, as such, actually to head on, to go and actually talk or to stop what's happening. They say, no, we'll support with weapons. But Hz Umar bin Khattab, when he heard that, okay, Roman Empire, Persian Empire, they are doing zulm upon their people and they're preventing Islam, he said, we will stop them head on. We will not just plan and say, okay, we'll support you, we'll do so. No. When you know something is truth, you should actually do whatever is right. So I'm just giving his political will, actually, and bravery, and he was successful in that. So at that time, thinking that some jihad will happen in Medina was almost impossible, because Islam was spread in 3 continents. But he still did dua. Ya Allah, give me death, let me die in Medina, but a death of martyrdom. So this means we can pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah can make everything possible. So what happened was that he was praying Fajr prayer, leading Fajr prayer in Medina in Masjid al-Nabawi. It's a story background. I would not like to go into there because of time. One person came and he stabbed him with a poisonous dagger, knife, in the prayer, because everyone knew, every enemy knew that no one can overpower him when he is not in salah. He is actually like sitting, or in the normal way without prayer. But in prayer, he is completely absorbed in the remembrance of Allah. Now he doesn't know what's happening left and right. So even enemies knew that his relationship with God and Allah is so strong. So that's when we can actually harm him. Anyway, he lived even 3-4 days after as well. During he was on that martyrdom bed, a young man came. A young man. जब आप आखिरी दिनों में थे, एक नौजवान आपकी खिदमत में आया, young man came, and he said, "Oh Umar, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, you are a blessed person. You accepted Islam in the early stages. You are the Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You served Islam. Prophet al-Islam was happy with you, and you accompanied him. Blessings be upon you. How lucky you are." Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said to him, "O young man, listen. If on the day of judgment, all these good deeds which you are saying, if they just are equal and they become a means to eliminate my bad deeds, and I have nothing to be rewarded, nothing to be punished, the matter is equal, I will be happy even that. I'll be happy if I am not punished, that's all. I don't believe that my good deeds are at such stage to be rewarded as such in relation to the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if I am forgiven, I am not rewarded, I am happy. You are saying this. So there is a great lesson. Imagine a person who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave glad tidings of Jannah, and who served Islam in the best possible way. And he's saying that even if I am forgiven, I am happy. And what about me and you? We are doing sins after sin, kabira sin, day and night. And then think we are a one-way journey, one-way ticket to Jannah. As though we have boarded a plane which is like a one-way journey to Jannah, we are there, we thinking in the back of our mind. This is very dangerous. So this was, rather than actually saying, yes, I am, like we are happy with our praise. When someone praises us, we seem to be happy. When someone mentions truth to us or criticize, we say, oh no, his person is our enemy. But look at Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab. He's not happy with the one who is praising. He's even giving him a lesson that don't be proud. And then he was lying on his bed, and that young man turned away and he went. And Hz Umar saw him. His jubba, his robe was draping below onto the ground, below the ankle. So he said, call him. He went, they called him, he said, young man, raise your clothing. It is more closer to purity, cleanliness, because you are rubbing on the ground. And also more closer to piety, because it will save you from arrogance that you are a big man because you have so much clothing and arrogant clothing. So he went. So imagine that at the time of his martyrdom, he is giving dawah. He is mentioning the truth. And also. But anyhow, he lived a successful life and he died as a successful, actually, death, which is a martyrdom. Now, all we are in danger. But if we follow the footsteps of these personalities, alhamdulillah, then actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might have mercy upon us as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable myself and yourself to be obedient and to take our time and the time of this life which we have to work for the life hereafter, which is forever and ever and ever. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanaka wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka. Allah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته وصل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. صدق الله العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. الله أكبر. استغفر الله العظيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله ومن يفعل ذلك فأولئك هم الخاسرون. وقال سبحانه وتعالى في شان حبيبه: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والملائكة أجمعين والخلفاء الراشدين المهديين خصوصا على أفضلهم أمير المؤمنين أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى أمير المؤمنين فارق الحق والباطل سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى كامل الحياء والإيمان أمير المؤمنين ذي النورين عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى مظهر العجائب والغرائب أسد الله الغالب أمير المؤمنين سيدنا علي بن أبي طالب كرم الله وجهه الكريم، وعلى ابنيهما سيدنا إمام حسن والحسين رضي الله تعالى عنهما، وعلى أمهما سيدة النساء أهل الجنة سيدتنا فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها ورضي الله تعالى عنها، وعلى بقية من أهل البيت والصحابة والتابعين والخيار إلى يوم الدين. يا حي يا قيوم فرج عن المسلمين في المشارق الأرض ومغاربها. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان ووقت وحين، خصوصا في أرض المقدسة وفي سوريا وفي يمن وفي العراق وفي كشمير وفي كل مكان يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة. اللهم إنا نسألك حسن الخاتمة ونعوذ بك من سوء الخاتمة. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. أقيموا الصلاة يرحمكم الله. سفين درست فرماني.